Breaking news, every pony. It's been confirmed that there is actually a My Little Pony live-action movie in development. I'm gonna have to bring out the Applejack countryisms for this one. Yeehaw! Hello to my lovely faefolk. You heard me right, sugar cubes. My Little Pony is getting a live-action movie. I'm honestly just as stunned as Twilight was when she accepted that Pinky Sense is real. I was not expecting this in the slightest. What the actual hey? What do we know about the movie as of now? Well, barely anything. Like, barely. Get it? Get it? Be prepared because there's more where that grew from. But anyways, there have been some big news outlets that have reported on this, like People, Variety, and Screen Rant. So it does seem like a thing that's actually happening. The studios that are going to be collaborating to work on this movie are Hasbro, of course, and Amazon MGM Studios. It's been confirmed it's in the very early stages of development. Just a little sapling at this point. Do we know the cast? No. Do we know the director? No. Do we know the release date? No. Do we know if Lauren Faust, the visionary behind Generation 4 of My Little Pony, is going to be working on the movie? No. However, if they do go the route of using Generation 4 for the movie, I do think that they should get Lauren Faust in on it somehow. And or at least people passionate about My Little Pony and want to make this an actual great movie. Because even though this is live action, I do think with the right people behind it and the right heart behind it, it could be a good movie. I mean, just look at Barbie. It's a masterpiece. And that was a live-action movie based off a toy franchise. Barbie's actually in my top 3 favorite movies, by the way. So honestly, if they do really have the right creatives behind this, I think it could be a really good movie and actually successful. Have you seen some of those live-action My Little Pony videos created by fans? One of the notable creators that I can think of is Storm XF3. Since we know basically nothing else about it, I really don't want to gallop on the hate train, even though I myself am getting quite tired of live actions. I mean, ever since I was little, all I really wanted was for the ponies to come to our world or me go to theirs. So maybe this movie does have the potential of bringing those dreams to life. But what are my speculations on it? This might be some sort of franchise revival, so it could be a way to launch Generation 6. But it's also likely that they use Generation 4 or even an earlier generation to base the movie off of. Now, I assume they'll make it in 3D to try to make it easier for the human characters to interact with the ponies, but there have been movies in the past to use 2D characters in the real world, like the first Space Jam and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I do think if they ended up using 2D though, it would be insanely cool and get lots of people to the theater just for that aspect of it. But once again, that's not the likely route that they'll go. I just really don't want the models to look like the 3D G5 models. Those just look almost too strangely human in the face. What kind of fertilizer have they had their nose in? And I'm also not a fan of the actual hooves. I really like the hooves in the previous generations of My Little Pony. Like in G4, the ponies don't really have that hard hoof part at the bottom of their hooves like they do in G5. I just feel like they look so much softer and cuter without that hard part on the bottom. I would love for the final designs of the movie to look really cutesy and keep the charm of the 2D animation style, like in G4 or even all the way back to G1. I don't think it's going to be like Equestria Girls where the ponies turn into humans, but maybe they will go through some sort of mirror to get to the real world like they do in Equestria Girls. It would be really nice though if they do go to somewhere in the real world that still captures those magic fantasy vibes. But if they do make it on Generation 4, make it to where there's some sort of evil afoot in Equestria or the real world or both, and there's some magical item or items or even the elements of harmony that is lost in the real world in 6 different locations, correlating with each of the main 6 that needs to be found. For example, a ranch or rodeo for Applejack, a library for Twilight, a fashion show for Rarity, etc. They could even go the route of remaking one of the Generation 1 movies, which actually already has human characters in it. The most notable being Megan and her siblings Molly and Danny. Out of the 3, Megan would probably be the one focused on the most, like the main human, just because she was the main human in Generation 1 as well. They could even make a completely new story with the characters, but still use Megan, and even other humans or characters that they previously conceptualized as well. Maybe they go the route where Megan's all grown up and she's lost the magic, and ends up needing to rediscover that magic to help the ponies defeat whatever evil is spreading, whether that be in Equestria, the real world, or both. Even if Megan isn't the main character, I would love a cameo of her at least. Fun fact, there actually was a cameo of Megan in Equestria Girls' Roller Coaster of Friendship. The Generation 1 movies were actually pretty dark too. They weren't all friendship and magic and rainbows like many people think. So there could be some interesting things that they could do with that. But side note, if Megan is involved somehow, they should totally cast me as Megan. Like, I'm literally her. I would bring the whimsy and wonder and magic of friendship. I promise. Pinky promise, that is. At least let me audition Hasbro, I beg, even as an extra. Honestly though, all of this talk about Generation 1 is making me want to do a full rewatch and deep dive into it. Let me know if y'all would be interested in that. I really do have a lot of ideas of how this could go though. Hasbro, you should totally hire me, just saying. I really do care deeply about My Little Pony though, and I hope whoever is going to be working on this movie has a real passion and love for it, and really cares about it being a thoughtful, well put together film. I will say also, it is kind of crazy timing that this was announced now, because I've actually been working on something that I guess you could classify similarly to it, but you'll have to wait for more information on that because I'm still working on it. So definitely subscribe if you want to see that when it's released. But as Applejack says, if you can take this bull by the horns, you better be ready for a ride. So if they actually want this movie to be successful, they need to make this movie filled with love and really capture the magic of My Little Pony. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you want more updates as more things come out about this movie, and anything else you'd like to see from me in the comments. If you would like to become a part of the faefolk too, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And always remember, I lovely you.
Now, was I cosplaying Applejack for this video partially just as an excuse to use her countryisms? Perhaps. Like perhaps. Get it? Get it? Do you guys get it? Rapid fire countryism time. Tell me your favorite in the comments. Sugar Cube, my dogs are barking. What kind of fertilizer have you had your nose in? You're more nervous than a worm in an apple on cider making day. A few apples short of a bushel. What the hey? Finally, I can buck like a 5-bit snake herder in an Appaloosa ranch house again. You can take this bull by the horns, you better be ready for a ride. What in tarnation? All hat, no cattle. Sounded like an apple core cut up in a pulp grinder. Pick an apple a day and keep the trouble away. Quieter than an apple blossom on snowfall. Great galloping galoshes. Listen here, you rabid rhododendrons. Wait an apple picking minute. We'll be there lickety-split. Butter my biscuits. My sister's speaking in fancy. Hold on a tick. What's he all saddle sore about? That's a barrel and a half full of obstacles. Get back here, you thieving varmints! Made me sit up proud like a cornstalk in August. Simmer down, Sally. Yeehaw! 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 Yeehaw!